So in this lecture, we'll be looking at the simplification of algebraic expressions that involves removing of brackets. So that's what we want to consider. So we'll be looking at an example of this form. In this kind of situation, when you are talking about, or when you talk about the removing of brackets, we're talking about using the term, so the term outside the bracket, for instance, we have C. So use the term outside the bracket to multiply each of the terms inside the bracket. And after that, you do a simplification where possible. So in handling this kind of situation, you first of all observe that C into A plus B is the same thing as saying C. So whenever you see a term before a bracket, it means that that term is multiplying the terms inside the bracket. Alright, so it's multiplying the terms inside bracket. So it's the same thing as C times A plus B. So in handling this kind of situation, how do we do that? We see that this C will multiply A, and after that the same C will multiply B. And when that happens, so when we say that C multiplies A, it will give us a CA. That is, C times A is the same thing as CA. So here will give us CA. Okay, and C times B is the same thing as CB. So finally, what we now have that C multiplying, because when we write C before the bracket, it means that C, that thing outside the bracket, is multiplying the terms inside the bracket. So we have A plus B. So this will now be equals to C times A is a CA. Then we recall we have our addition. So we retain our addition. So we put it there. So we have plus. Then C times CB will give us a CB. And this is what we mean by removing the brackets. Now we look at an example properly. So in this example, we are to remove the brackets in this expression. So we are looking at this expression. We want to remove the bracket. And by removing the brackets, what it means that now we use 2 to multiply the terms inside the bracket. Okay, that's what we mean. So 2 we multiply M, 2 we multiply N, and finally 2 we now multiply that numerical value 3. So that will now tell us that when 2 multiplies M, so here we give us 2M. So here we have 2M. Okay, and when 2 multiplies N, so here we have 2N. And finally, when 2 multiplies 3, we have 6 here. So what have we got? What we have, that's 2 multiplying M plus N minus 3 will now give us 2 times M, which will give us 2M, plus 2 times N, which will give us 2N, then 2 times minus 3, which will now give us minus 6. So here, we'll recall that here will be minus 6. So what do we have? So finally, this will now give us 2M plus 2N minus 6. So as you can see, there is no other simplification that will be possible at this point. So what we have is that we can now write that 2 into M plus N minus 3 is nothing else but is equals to 2M plus 2N minus 6. And that's, as you have seen, we have succeeded in removing the brackets. And when we remove the brackets, this will be the expected result. So we want to look at an example. We want to remove brackets from this expression. So what we have is 2 into 3 minus 2a bar. So we would like to explain what we mean by bar. Just try to explain that. So supposing you have an addition, so you have plus. And when you have bar, bar is just like the negation. That will give us a minus. Supposing you have minus and you have bar the minus, that will give you plus. So actually what we are doing is that if you have 2 plus 3 and you have bar, it's the same thing as saying 2 minus 3, and you have 2 minus 3 and you have bar, it's the same thing as saying 2 plus 3. So just when you say bar, you're just taking the reverse of the sign. So we'll handle that. We'll use that knowledge to handle this problem. So now we handle this problem. So we now have that 2 into 3 minus 2a bar would now be equals to 2 into 3 plus 2a. Our minus will now be changed into addition, and that will give us now plus 2a. Okay, so we now handle the multiplication. So we'll go this way. So 2 we multiply 3, and finally 2 we multiply 2a. And when 2 multiplies 3, that will give us 6. And when 2 multiplies 2a, that will give us 4a. So at the end of the day, so we now have that this will be equals to now 6. That is 2 times 3 is 6, plus the 2 times 2a will now give us 4a. So finally what we have got is that 2 into 3 minus 2a bar is now equals to 2 into 3 plus 2a, and this will now be equals to 6 plus 4a, and that's what we expected to get. Then one more thing, in handling this kind of opening of brackets or removing of brackets, we don't need to be drawing the arrow each time, but the arrow is just to give us the clearer pictures. All we need to know is to know which multiplication will come first and which one will follow later at the end of the day. That's all we need. So we want to handle this problem. We want to remove the brackets in the following expression. So here we have 2 brackets. So we have 2 brackets here. So this is a little bit, cumbersome, but we'll handle it. So this is what we have now. So we have that 4 into x minus 3y minus 3z. Okay, bracket closes. Then we have another one minus 2 into 2x minus 5y minus 4z. Okay, that's what we have. So we handle them in bits. So we'll start. So we handle the first bracket. So the first bracket. So what do we have? So we have that 4 times x will give us 4x. So we have 4x. Then next, the same 4 times minus 3y. That will give us minus 12y. So we have minus 12y. We'll put it down. Next, again, is 4 times minus 3z. Remember that 4 times minus 3 will give us minus 12. Okay, and 4 times z will give us z. So that's how we'll now get minus 12z. So what do you observe? We are done with the first bracket. So we go to the second bracket. So what do we have there? So we have now, we are starting with the second bracket. So we have minus 2. The minus 2 times 2x will give us minus 4x. So we have minus 4x. The next is the same. Minus 2 going into minus 5y. What do you observe? You first of all see that the minus times minus will give us plus. So we have plus. So minus times minus will give us plus. We are familiar with this, that let's put it by the side, that plus times plus will always give us plus, and the minus times plus will give us minus, plus times minus will also give us minus, and minus times minus will give us a plus. So maybe you put down this on one side of your notes and take note of them whenever they occur. So that's how we got plus there. So we now have plus 10y, because 2 times 5 is 10. So we now have 10y there. Then again, we have the same thing, minus 2 times minus 4z. Again, we quickly get plus because we have minus times minus there. And the 2 times 4 will give us 8 times z. So we have 8z. So as you can see, we have handled the 2 brackets. Then the next stage is another thing we can see is that it's possible to do grouping. How? We can do grouping because we can see that we have 4x here. So we have x here, we have x here, we have y component here, we have y component here, and have z component here, and we have z component here. So we now put everything together and see that this will be equals to 4x. Okay, so we get the other 4 minus 4x, we put it together. So we are done with x. Now we move to y. So on the left hand side we have minus 12y. We write minus 12y. On the other right hand side we have 10y. So we now write plus 10y. And we are done with y. The next is to handle z. So here we have minus 12z. So we put it down minus 12z. Then we have z component here. So we now have plus 8z. So we have pulled everything together. So the other one is to do the arithmetic. This will be equals to 4x minus 4x. You are taking 4x away from 4x. What is remaining is 0. So here will be 0. So we are left with nothing. So here we can write the addition plus to get the clearer picture. So let's say let this be equals to 10y. Okay, minus 12y. So the subtraction will be easy to handle. So let's write the one that has plus for that of z. So we have 8z now minus 12z. Okay, so this will be equals to 0 is 0, so it's not making any change in the equation. So we drop it. So we have 10y. So here is 10y minus 12y. What do you observe? You are taking a number 12y from 10y. So you're just like borrowing. You'll be at deficit. So when you do that, because 10 is less than 12y, so it's going to be negative. So you have minus 2y. The same thing happens 8z minus 12z, because 8z is less than 12z. So when you subtract, you're going to get, instead of getting plus 4, you will get minus 4, because 8z is less than 12z. So that will give us minus 4z. That's what we have. So we can say now, without loss of generality, that 4 into x minus 3y minus 3z, bracket closes, another bracket opens, 2x minus 5y minus 4z, okay, is now equals to minus 2y minus 4z. So what have we done? So what we have done is that we have removed the two brackets here. All these brackets, we have taken them away. And when you have taken them away, it means you are multiplying the terms inside the bracket with the terms outside the bracket. And this should be your final result. And that's what we have.